All right, Monday sucked and I am intoxicated, so let's get into it. Welcome to Rated Radio Plus, the show where artists and albums are pitted against each other while their songs get rated on a scale of, can you guess, 0 to 10. I'm your host, Shane Wyndham, and this is Elvis Presley versus Jerry Lee Lewis. Hope you're ready for a fight. We will start here with Jerry Lee Lewis. As always, the albums were rolled at random from their discography. This was When Two Worlds Collide from 1980. Of the 10 tracks, I thought 6 were great, but none of those got a flawless rating. My bottom track was I Only Want a Buddy, Not a Sweetheart, and my top track was Good News Travels Fast, although I will say that was a contentious spot. The music makes me feel like I'm hearing an old outlaw country crooner with a Western piano player throwing down in the background. And then there was Elvis Presley with Elvis Now from 1972. Of the 10 tracks, I thought 3 were great. None of those got a flawless rating. My bottom track was I Was Born About 10,000 Years Ago, and my top track was We Can Make the Morning. The music of this album makes me feel like I'm at a church where the music is only too religious and repetitive in certain spots. By the way, as far as Jerry Lee Lewis goes, I'd recommend the artist, based upon the listen of this particular album, to fans of Merle Haggard, Johnny Paycheck, David Allan Coe, the Charlie Daniels Band, and Hank Williams Sr. For Elvis, my recommendations would be Barry Manilow, Michael Bolton, and John Denver. Please like or subscribe if you're still listening, and remember, I rate way more music over on the Patreon page. You can see nearly all songs and albums I rate at no cost by clicking join for free at patreon.com/ratedradio. There are even some extra perks to find there, like re-rated albums from early seasons of the show. I just finished re-rating Lana Del Rey's 5 albums, as an example. And there's also a quick reference for folks who only want to see how many 8s, 9s, and 10s each album landed. As a critic, Patreon is where I live, so come see the mountain of searchable content you're otherwise missing out on. This episode is meant for paid subscribers, but will remain free to hear until the next edition of Plus releases in a few months because, let's face it, I'm cool like that. With the exception of the very first track. Jerry Lee's album is something that, if not for the routine piano wiles, I'd have sworn was a Hank Williams Jr. album. Not senior, mind you. This is definitely Bocephus' style. It's all covers too outside of that first track, where you can expect most things to sound like David Allan Coe's You Never Even Called Me By My Name. Though it's music I'm rarely going to be in the mood for, and can't say much of any of it moves me emotionally, there's no denying the skill involved here. The production is solid, Lewis's voice is pleasant, even if he routinely slurs his words, such as I'm doing right now, again because I am intoxicated on a fucking suck-ass Monday. TMI, I apologize. Anyway, the instrumentals, even the dullards, are always giving way to an excuse for the people behind the curtain to cut loose and rock out. Not bad at all, to be clear. I actually think plenty of classic country fans will dig this disc way more than I did once they're past that first song. It's just not the kind of music I've felt a strong desire to seek out. Quite an impressive surprise to see solid marks like this, though, from an old school artist so late in their career. Especially given that the dive into country here was so near complete. Then there's Elvis, who'd be winning this head-to-head if not for the repetition and lack of melody changes in some of the songs on offer. While I can't say I'm personally interested in hearing his religiosity either, I'll be the first to admit his voice and the lyrics of his love songs are much more my speed than that of Jerry Lee. Elvis even had a song hit a higher rating than anything from Mr. Lewis, but whereas there's something of an argument to be made for vocals in either direction, the music itself plays near constantly in favor of Jerry Lee. Do I see myself becoming a massive Jerry Lee Lewis fan now? No, I do not. But I am at least more open to hearing how many other genre boundaries he succeeded in breaking in his time. Presley, on the other hand, maybe offering up jewels I haven't yet heard when I take on his deep dive, but I'll be getting no more than exactly what I've come to expect. And that's not a knock. Fact is that some people will prefer that. Not like you go listening to Journey in hopes of hearing them sound like Reba McEntire at random, but it does point to a lack of risk-taking from Presley, which could see his shtick get older faster than that of Jerry Lee. I'd add, by the way, that I recently watched my first Elvis movie. I had been led to believe that he was never cast for a serious dramatic role, so his movies weren't really worth watching, and I'd have to argue that just seeing him in what I did, which was Clambake, the film Clambake, he should have been cast in a serious role. I'd put him up there with the likes of Jim Carrey. You know what to expect, but you should expect way more. He was clearly capable of much more than anyone gave him credit for. And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of what he has on offer in terms of cinema. In any case, I really do love Elvis for some of the timeless tunes he gave us, and only a fool would argue against his status of king-like iconography. But Jerry Lee wins this bout from a technical standpoint. Great album covers all around, might I add. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. Until next time, which because this is coming out late in the month, will be sooner rather than later, fill your world with music.